Alright, this is my engine bay. I'm about to put everything back together since I'm pretty much done everything. Few modifications I made. Right there, I drilled that hole out bigger because I find the blow-off valve just doesn't open quick enough, so I figured maybe if the hole was a little bit bigger, it might help with that. I turned everything into AN4 fittings because it's just much easier. Yeah, there's the PAL V3 modification on there. I had to change all the hoses because the hoses I had with that just weren't long enough. They go all the way under and around because that ZZP intake just doesn't give them room to go anywhere else but under there. Come up, I heat shielded everything. If you can see there, that is my oil line routing there. It goes up and over there. It has enough room so it won't get clamped off. I use the stainless fitting because I just don't trust aluminum. And my custom made little PCV hose. I used the 1/8 NTP and PT to AN6, and it just has enough room to clear the wastegate there. It worked perfectly. And then it's all heat shielded. It's braided stainless under there, covered with a heat shield sleeve. I think that's good to like 500 degrees, and then some heat shield tape, which is in the like 1400 degree. And this will attach to the other part that's on my intake that I'll show you later. Oil line down there runs around where the intake connects, and then I'll show you from underneath where that goes. This whole big mess here is my whole meth failsafe and my stock boost controller there, the boost solenoid. It's all, I'm not even going to explain how that all works because it's just was a pain in the ass, but figured it out. And here's my boost gauge thingy. I broke it. The reason I went to AN lines on here, while they look better, they work better, is every time I would pull off the hose on here, I kept breaking the clip that screws this down. I would fix it and keep breaking it by accident. That's why it's here, because it's completely broken, because last time I did it I broke it completely. And yeah, that stainless line there is my meth line, and it goes under there somewhere. And there is my nicely finished fuse box cover. That paint turned out absolutely gorgeous. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the modifications. Up here I'll show you underneath. I guess there you can see the bottom of my little oil pressure block. I'm sure you guys have seen pictures earlier in the thread of that, but yeah, that's what it looks like from under here. It would be really hard to put that on with the engine in the car. I'm glad I did it out of the car. I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll change those lines to something other than aluminum, because aluminum just scares me even though it is strong. Alright, there is my oil return. It's an AN10. I know some people say that that doesn't flow enough oil, So what I did was I basically, all the ends, I drilled them out, made the holes bigger to about the diameter of the hose. Up on that one, I made the hole bigger, and then I die grinded the edges in a slope so the oil would smoothly flow in. So it's as big as basically it can be. I figure that's good enough because it was about the size of what ZZP sends you. And here's my oil line. Comes down under the coolant pipe behind that brace there and connects via a 90-degree stainless fitting. And it's actually a lot easier putting on that 90-degree than it is that straight one you get with the ZZP kit. And there is my turbo brace that me and John Powell figured out and built. It connects to the bottom two bolts of the turbo, where it connects to the manifold with a little bit longer bolts than the top, and then goes there and then down to the stock location on the stud there. So yeah, right now I just have a normal lock nut, but I ordered some stainless serrated lock nuts. They're flange nuts. I figure they hold a lot better and will just be nicer because they won't rust and crap. But yeah, and I guess the downpipe here I had to modify because they sent me the wrong one. So that's basically how these things run from the ZZP kit. I slightly modified the trans mount. I just die grinded it off a bit so the heat shielding on this pipe would not rub against there. So it has like a slight bit of space. And if you look at this brace, it does not touch the coolant pipe at all, which is absolutely great. So don't have to worry about that. I thought it was pretty awesome. And I think that's pretty much all the mods I made to make these turbo kits work properly for me. I will show you the intake now. Alright, this is my intake. I had to customize this coupler. I don't know if ZZP sells the 3.5 to 3.5 90-degree coupler now, but they didn't have the S257 when I bought this, so they had a 3.5 down to 3.25 or 3 or something, which didn't work, so I had to get that somewhere else. And here I cut off their little thing they had for the PCV, and I welded in a 1/4 inch NPT bung and then another one. And this top one here, this is that new style of check valve PCV hose thing that you can get from Crate Engine Depot. I just modified it a bit. I bought a AN6 to 3/8 barb fitting, and I put that on, and this is where the AN6 90-degree thing from the rest of the hose that's on the valve cover screws onto, and then it just goes into this 90-degree barb fitting here. I heat shielded it a bit. I should probably heat shield this part. I think I probably forgot to. Yeah, I'll heat shield that. And this guy is for the Powell oil separator. The line goes under there and then screws on via a 90-degree end. I had to change from the 45-degree end, and it just screws on there and it all works good. It's just a little bit of a pain getting it installed once the pipe's on, but other than that, it works very well, everything. It took me quite a while to get this all figured out and what angles and exactly how. I had to actually cut the threads off of this guy somewhat. No, wait, it was actually off of here. Some of it had four barbs. I had to cut it down to like 2 and a bit to get it, when you tighten it, to clear that one. But it still works good. So I guess if you don't want to do that, you can use a 45-degree. It'll also work. You'll have to adjust it a bit differently, but it works and they clear each other. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I painted my little oil dipstick to match. And yeah, I changed this to AN4 as well. So that's about it for the mods I did on the engine to make everything just perfect the way I wanted it. I just don't like rubber hoses. I like AN lines. Everything's much neater and easier, and it just looks nicer. So I'm sure in the future, whatever else I can change, I will. And yeah, that's it. So here is my PCV hose, how it connects. Runs along, 90-degree, connects there, and the check valve is 90-degree, and it goes down to the intake thingy. So everything's hooked up and all done. The only thing I have left to do is that stupid freaking brake caliper that broke on me. It's coming in the mail, a new one. And some fender linings, and then she's all ready to break in. Alright, there she is running. Sounds healthy. Kit all ready to go. I don't know if you can see that, but air fuel ratio at idle is like 12, so yeah, needs some tuning. Short-term fuel trims is like minus 30. Definitely needs tuning. 70 oil pressure. I guess it's got to warm up. But yep. All ready for breaking in and tuning.